Good evening. This is a trade site update for the activity in the market on March 23rd. What I'm going to do is walk you through what happened in the market, and we're going to talk and focus here on the afternoon trading because we find that to be a very different part of the session from what we see in the morning. We like to encourage our traders to trade the first 2 hours of the day actively and then come back after lunch and take a look at the market and decide whether or not they should do anything based on the activity of the futures. So what you're going to see here on the right side of your screen is the chart of the ES futures, and you can see this is the activity from Tuesday, and you can see how basically flat it was in the afternoon, even in the morning after the initial move down here. We used the midpoint of the day, which is this line right here, as resistance in the afternoon. We never broke the midpoint or the low of the session. So to us, that's sort of a point where you don't want to get too excited about the market because there's nothing going on in the afternoon. You need to break some kind of resistance or support level. You need to show some volume. You need to get going. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add the volume to the chart here. And again, you can see how basically flat the volume was overall going into the session. Now, what you see here is after that activity on Tuesday, which was so light and again very limited, we don't want to get involved in trades from that perspective. Even though the market direction was red, what we call red from the perspective of our directional tool, because we were under at least 2 of the 3 lines that you see here, one right here being the opening level on Tuesday, 2 being the midpoint, we couldn't breach above that, and 3 being the short-term moving average. There really wasn't any new lows being made for the day. There wasn't anything exciting going on. You can take a look at the volume activity here. It didn't pick up until the last 20 minutes of the day, and that's too late. So here we come into Tuesday's trading activity, or I'm sorry, Wednesday's trading activity, and here we get a gap down in the market. We had a little lower initially, and market direction is red early on because we did keep going lower. But as you can see, once the day started to play out, about an hour in, we were starting to head back up. Okay, and that's what changes today is that market direction got green after the first hour's play. We had a gap down in the morning. We like to see those gaps fill. 80% of the time they fill the same day. As we started to take out the highs of the session, and by the way, here you see a seeker box that got completed that showed us a short-term pause in the market, right? After that box completes, you see this dashed line, then we end up with a pause in the market. But as we did start to head up again, we filled the gap, which means we went back to Tuesday's close in the market, right? And then we headed a little bit higher after that, and we're still over the lunch, what's called the lunch break. Now keep in mind, I'm on Pacific time, so this is 6:30 is the open of the stock market. 1 p.m. Eastern time is the close of the 1 p.m. Pacific time is the close of the stock market. So here we are again. Market starts to head up. We've exceeded the gap fill. We're back now. We're green for the day. But look at the separation that we get at this point in time. We get these lines. This is the opening level. This is the midpoint of the day. And this is the short-term moving average. We're above all 3. And there's separation of the lines. That's different from the prior day. That's different from a lot of what we've been seeing in the market. So we finally have some separation. This is the type of day where you want to pay attention to what's going on in the market, because if you keep pushing higher after lunch, and at this point in time it's 11 a.m. Pacific time, which is the last 2 hours of the market we're entering, you want to see volume come into the market and some movement occur, and then you want to get involved. So what ends up happening here, as I scroll through the rest of the day, is look at this. We go higher. Okay, we get a seeker box completion. That's a 9-bar count right here. The box completes right here. Okay, but again, we got to push up into the last hour and a half of the day. Now we're down to 30 minutes left. Then we did stall out for a bit after that point. Okay, so what did we get for the day? We ended up with a gap down, a base, a cup, a little bit of negative activity in the first hour, came back up from this point in the day where the seeker box starts right here. We've got green market direction because we're above 2 of the 3 lines. We ended up with a little short-term top-out point right here when the seeker box completed. Then we paused, we went sideways, we shot up to fill the gap, and we went sideways. Another seeker box and a 9-bar count that completes right here. That leads to a pause in the market. Then another push up in the afternoon. Volume picks up in the market, something we don't typically see. If you look back even to the prior day, you can see over here that there's no volume that picked up in the afternoon. That's no activity. So here we see volume pick up, the futures take off again. Okay, so what did that mean for what we're doing in the stock market? Well, here's the TradeSite Messenger. This is what our calls were in the day. Again, these are on Pacific time because this is my time chart. And you can see that in the afternoon we had a couple calls which include MOS, CLAC, Google over 579, eBay over 3041. Okay, several calls in the second half of the session. I'm going to pull these up right now and just share with you what they did, and you can ignore some of the short-term lines because I'm just going to show you what the triggers were. Here's the eBay chart. Again, the long trigger on this was over 341. That's right here. Okay, this blue line that you see, we broke out long over that early in the lunch session, about 2 hours in. Market direction was green at the time. Okay, we retested that level. We ran up. We hit what we call a partial, which means we went at least 20 cents on a $30 stock. We sell half of the trade there. We continued to go higher in the afternoon as the market was heading up. So we got a good run out of eBay. Now let's take a look at CLAC, for example. Here's what CLAC did. We had a call on CLAC today that would go long over the 46 level. I'm going to plug that into the chart right here. That's the blue line. Again, this is in the afternoon. It's a 2-day breakout. Okay, it's a cup and handle formation. You can see we broke out. We ran about 50 cents, 30 cents. Again, an easy move. By the way, the seeker tool showed us the top of that move once again. So we had a real easy run again. And why are we taking these trades? We're taking these trades because the market directional that we showed you early on in the day, what the futures were indicating in the afternoon was some strength of the market, which is something we haven't seen for a while. So we took these plays. Now here's another one. This is the Google. I've lined this blue line up. This is our breakout level over 579.94. This was a breakout from 3 days back. It's a real clean pattern. I'm going to back the chart out. You get the idea of what I'm looking at here. Okay, this is a real nice pattern. Look at this. 3 days of activity. We're breaking out over that range. Where did that lead us? Well, ran about 2.5 points on Google. Very clean from the trigger, which is right here. The top of the day, again, picked by the seeker tool. So, again, why do we take these trades? We take these trades because, unlike most days that we've seen recently, we had separation of the lines on the futures going into the afternoon. We got some volume back with 2 hours left. We got to push higher to make new highs. We take the trades, and look what happens. All these trades end up working in the afternoon. If you don't see this type of activity, it's a sign that you shouldn't be trading in the afternoon. This is something we teach at TradeSight. We feel like it's done very well for us, and certainly today was a great example.